You listen to me. You listen to me.
Listen to me.
You listen to me closer than you've ever listened.
What's up, everybody? This is Friday Night Lights Rewind. I'm Brandon Collins.
I'm Chris Allen.
And we were talking about episode 13 of season 1. Little Girl, I Want to Marry You. Very creepy title to read that out loud, but it makes sense in the context of the episode.
It does.
This was a lot. This is a great episode. I just want to get that off the bat. I talked about this at the last episode. This reminded me that I had a little crush for some reason on Tyra's oldest sister. I don't know why. Don't ask me specific questions, folks. But this episode demonstrates the power of a Black mother, because Black moms are the realest motherfuckers out here. They will do everything they can to protect their kids, but they also will hold their kids accountable and be like, "You fucked up. You fucked up." Because Smash's mom, bro. This is what I love about apparently whatever Coach Taylor does, whatever Coach Taylor is doing in the community to earn the goodwill and buy into people. Coach Taylor, when the mom confronts him in his office after she finds the steroids and smashes his room, which, by the way, niggas, never leave anything important in your room. If you were a teenage boy, if you're a teenager and you listen to this for some reason, do not leave anything that can be incriminating or get you in trouble in your bedroom. Do not do it.
Yeah, especially if you've never cleaned up.
Yes, it's insane. Yo, when the mom confronts Taylor, she's like, "I thought you were a good man." All of a sudden, he looked her in the eye and said, "I do not know anything about this." She immediately bought it. She immediately was like, "Oh shit, he's telling the truth," and immediately knew that her son was the one. Mm-hmm. But like, that was such a powerful moment, such great acting.
It was. And it's funny you mentioned that specifically, because he was like, later Smash was like, "Yo, why would you bring that to Coach?" And like you said, she believes in her son so much. She was like, "Yo, I didn't think you were dumb enough to do no shit like that." Mm-hmm. She rides so hard for her son that she thought a grown man with a family was like, "Yo, you got to help me win with these steroids." Like, that's how, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You go, and I mean, a lot of parents do that, right? They go to extreme lanes to not believe that their kid did some shit.
Right, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm being proper Bob, but yeah, man, she went in there full board, no, I mean, there was no time in between. I mean, this show jumps around so much. Very rarely do they ever like continue a storyline scene for scene. You know what I mean? And this was like, no getting in the car. It was like, get your ass in this office.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right now. Yeah. She snatched him up in the locker room. I mean, whew.
Man, yeah. That's just a Black mother on the warpath is the scariest shit.
And you know, in Smash, you know, with his actions, he puts Coach Taylor in a really tough spot, because basically Coach Taylor's like, if I don't report him, I'm fucking up, right? Like, I'm like going against my morals. I'm going against the guidelines. If I do report him, Smash's career is over, and possibly our season. But it's more about Smash's career. He's like, if I report this kid's athletic career is over.
Yeah, this is tough. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Be honest.
To be honest, I would have done it probably would have bit me in the ass, honestly, more than it does for Coach Taylor. I would have done what Coach Taylor is doing, which is like, he gets suspended for a game. We don't talk about why. It's an internal situation, right? And I would do exactly what Coach Taylor did, which is have that stern talk with Smash about holding him accountable, doing the anonymous drug tests. I would do what Coach Taylor does. I wouldn't, because I also, you know, after this year, I would feel like I know this kid. I know that he's lost. And if it all makes sense, you know what I mean? Because Coach Taylor has been observing Smash's weird behavior ever since that scout came by, and, you know, he saw him with the playbook and all this stuff, right? And so it probably all comes to Taylor like, oh, this is what all these things were adding up to. And so I think Coach Taylor is doing the best he can without destroying this kid's life. Because remember, Coach Taylor at this point, he's getting courted by other teams and stuff like that. He has options.
Oh, yeah.
He has options. And so I think when you're an educator, I think when you're a leader, especially of young men, you want to give them as many options as possible, because this dream of being a star athlete and stuff like that, okay, yeah, a lot of kids around the country have that dream. So let me give this kid options. But if you take away the primary option that could get him more options, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, man.
Would you have told, reported Smash?
It's a tough call, man. I like how coach handled it. I would like to think if I was in the same position, man, I don't know, man. If
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest, you know what? Ah, because you know what, man? I think about his mom. I think
Okay.
about his mother, but I also think like he's a dumb kid. He, you have to put a lot of trust in him. What is he, a
Yeah.
sophomore right now?
I think he's 16. I think he's the same age as Saracen, so sophomore or junior.
And
Because I think he's there through next season. So next
yeah,
season, I think he's a senior. So he's a junior
okay,
now. Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Because I'm pretty sure
So
he, Smash and Riggins, they graduate next season.
yes, you're right. And you got to think too, like, is this kid gonna keep his ego and mouth in check? Because he could get mad at me later on and say
Yes.
some shit.
Well, I think it's kind of like we're in a Mexican standoff in a way, right? Because if you
Yeah,
take me down, then I take you down. I mean, it's like it doesn't behoove either one of them to have a fallout, but at the same time, again, Coach Taylor's going to be okay because he can
yeah,
always just feign ignorant and be like, "Oh, I didn't know the Smash was doing this or whatever," right? Because that's why he's even protecting Buddy because Buddy's like, "I should know what's going on." He's like, "It's an internal matter." He's like, "I'm internal."
yeah.
He's like, "I'm the most internal dude on the team besides you."
I know. When that was happening, it's just like, man, sometimes you're just better off not knowing shit, man. You know, just you're just
Well,
better off just not knowing.
well, he's protecting them because remember, the more people that knew about the voodoo situation, the more fucking liabilities they had as a
Mhm.
team, right? As an organization. So if Coach Taylor can keep it contained, it's
Yeah,
like, okay, if I can keep it contained, obviously the mom hasn't self-reported Smash, right?
right.
So we're all in this together as to keep this on the low. We know the situation, so we can hold Smash accountable. But the
Yeah,
more people that hear about it, like that could be a big issue. So,
yeah.
I think that they're playing it the best they can. I think Smash
They are.
knows the stakes, everything.
They
But
are.
at the same time, I think also, and this is me just being naive and hoping, for the best in people. I think Coach Taylor's conversation with Smash at that diner at the burger joint and pointing to the cook and being like, he used to be a star player for this team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
I
they were
think that
naming.
really, I think that did get through to Smash. And
Yeah,
for me, I wrote down that that's like the approach I try to take as a mentor. It's like, I think young men, especially that are raised without fathers, they need to be held accountable. They need to be told like what you do is important, but also you need to be accountable to your actions and how they impact those people that are, there for you and family and things
mhm.
like that. And so, because I think when you don't have that accountability, it's easy to just go around this world just using people, destroying shit for your own gain. You know what I mean?
Right.
Kind of going back to what I talked about last episode. Like, I think holding men accountable to being the protectors that they claim to be, that's showing how to be a man.
Right. I agree. I 100% agree. I feel like as I've gotten older, like I think I went through very short stints where I would hold women like way more accountable. You know the type of niggas that do that type of
Mm,
shit where like
yeah.
they should know better and like the older I get, I realize like motherfuckers really take advantage of these of single moms, man. Women who want companionship, all that kind of stuff, and they end up with these guys who like who've never taken accountability.
No.
That's why they end up not being great fathers. They use women for their cars. They use them for just whatever, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. And like yeah, he could end up being or like the type they end up using their moms the rest of their life. You know what I mean? Their mom has to take
Yeah.
care of them forever.
Yep.
Always saving them and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Chris, I feel like the past minute you just been pitching the plot of Baby Boy though. Like, at first I was like, yeah, yeah, like you living with your mom and stuff, and then you brought the car, like the car thing. I was like, yeah, yeah. And then you're like, I was like, wait a minute, this
You
is
know, I've
Baby
never
Boy.
even seen Baby Boy.
Yes, you have,
I
Chris.
swear to God, I've never seen
How have
it.
you never seen Baby Boy,
I've made a point to
bro?
not watch Baby Boy.
Why?
You know what? I want to, but my wife hates it so much she won't allow me to watch it with her.
You gotta watch Baby Boy.
All right, I'll watch it this weekend because I'm like, yo, I've never seen it.
You gotta
I feel
watch it.
like
It's a good movie. It's just so insane because Tyrese is fucking. It's his first, feature film, and then Ving Rhames as like his mom's boyfriend. It's so wild, bro.
Yeah, I've never seen. I don't know how. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's how I learned about Stacey Adams shoes because Ving Rhames is wearing these shoes like Stacey Adams.
My uncle wear them shits.
I got a pair of Stacey Adams. They're pretty comfortable.
He got some. He has some boxes of them. He just wear them to church. He got boxes.
They're
boxes.
very, very much a church shoe.
Yeah, with the little tassels on them and shit.
Oh, I don't.
Kind of you can slip on. You know the kind I'm talking about. You got those. Yeah. But yeah, man.
Psychology was the name of the day, as what was the word of the day in this episode, because between Dr. Q on the radio at the beginning of the episode, Buddy Gary's talking to Lyla about how a psychologist wants to meet with her to talk about, the football culture, all these things. I was like, okay, I get it. Yeah. There's a lot of mind play shit happening. Also, this movie did give kind of a psychological thriller vibe when they're all at the fucking diner and Tim Riggins is looking at Tyra like fucking Mark Wahlberg in that Crush movie. It was so weird. Creepy.
Mad weird.
They were all in the same place, right? Tyra was over here, Riggins is over here, Street and Lyla are over here, right? Like they're all in the same space. Yeah. Okay. That's when I was like, oh, no one gives a fuck anymore about this drama between these folks.
Yeah. But it's also like that's how small of a town that it is, where they all just end up in these places together.
So weird.
It's so weird, man.
Tyra trying to remind Street that he's a cuck. I was like, damn, but I was like, but at the same time, it's Minka Kelly.
I know what I mean? Have you seen her lips? Yeah. Have you seen this young lady?
Like, I'm sorry, Tyra.
She's trying to wake Tyra up too. But yo, man, this episode, man, I wanted to skip to it. Him proposing makes me so mad.
It's very frustrating. Yeah.
I get so mad.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, because Street is just misreading all the signs and Herc's journey.
Is he?
Well, he's defiant. Street is defiant. And that's the thing, is like, you got to remember, he's a 17-year-old kid.
Determined kid.
He's a 17-year-old kid who's still trying to, I think, in a way, prove his manliness. Like, he can't really have sex. His Lila's dad, Buddy, is like setting her up with like some college kid or whatever, right? For a lunch meeting or whatever the fuck.
This dude is sick. He's sick.
All these things, and then Buddy doesn't make things better when he confronts him, and his Buddy's basically like, yeah, how are you gonna take care of my daughter? You can barely take care of yourself, which is a lot to put on a 17-year-old kid that just like came back from like a almost life-ending injury.
He asked for it. He did ask for it.
I mean, yeah, when
he asked for it.
To be fair, yeah, Street did step to him like on some grown man shit. It's like, all right, yeah, he did step to him.
The thing he rolled to him. Yeah. The thing that was fucked up when he was like, what you gonna do when the baby's upstairs crying? My daughter, it's just like, yo,
that was wild.
It's just like, you don't think they would buy a ranch? What you gonna do when she's upstairs crying? It's just like, all right, you just skip to that.
What about my grandbabies? Can you have babies?
Can you have babies?
And then Street's like, that's still to be determined. He's like, see, you can't even be a man in your ball sack. Like, so yeah, Buddy Garrity just pushes Street to be like, hey, little girl, I want to marry you. And it's just like, well, that ain't gonna end well.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna be having regret this whole time, being like, man, I could have married Lyla Garrity, but I fucked it up. I asked too soon.
Man, one thing as a young teenager, like when you're in your late teens, when you think you're a man and you think you want to have a man's conversation, they never, ever, ever work out. Ever.
No.
You might be able to sum up a guy's life brief. Oh, you fucking drunk piece of shit. It's just like that guy already knows. It's like, yo, you're likely gonna end up worse than me. You know what I mean? Like they already know, like, bro, you can never have a conversation like that with a grown man.
Yeah.
It never works out because you don't have all the information and you look stupid.
For sure.
And that's exactly what happened to Jason, man. Because he laid that shit out plain as day. Was it mean and shit? Yeah, it's like, but you fucking asked for it. And I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I don't want you with my daughter because you're in a wheelchair. Ugh. That's rough, man.
Yeah, that was gangster.
It was.
Well, Buddy's also, he's always been a piece of shit, but now like we're seeing sprinkles of even more egregious behavior because between him, I mean, to be fair, he was right commenting about Matt's dad. He said Matt's dad was such a bad salesman, he couldn't sell a life preserver to a drowning man, which I was like, that's harsh as fuck, but probably true.
My son heard that. He was like, geez.
But like, Buddy hiring Tyra's mom after like they had the blowout, didn't even go back to couldn't even get to the office, all this shit. And as soon as he peeped Angela, he was like, "Oh yeah, let's go talk now." And then I wrote down, I was like, "Oh shit, I remember they have an affair, don't they?"
They do.
And my wife was like, "Oh, see, yeah, he saw this pretty woman, and now he's like, oh yeah, let's talk." Blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
that position's been filled. It's been filled.
And so we can find another thing for you to do.
Yeah, I'm sure they could. I'm sure they could. It was so funny because I noticed in that scene. Tyra and her mom had to talk. They bucked up, they got it done. And like she got to see her mom be confident in her wheelhouse because Buddy didn't want to talk. And she had to look like, you know what, as soon as my mom, because there are some people like, you know what, once we get in this area, this motherfucker gonna take over and it's gonna be good. Like once we get there, that's exactly what the mom did. She put the charm on just like that because she knew like my mom can get this done. My mom's pretty, she's capable, but she just can get down on herself. And she knew once her mom got in the room, her mom would deliver, and she did. Yeah. She had to prove to her mother that she could do it. Again, being the parent.
That's true, yeah. Because like there's the truck, the tire explodes, and then she like the mom's like, "I can't do a tire. I need a man." And Tyra basically shakes the shit out of her mom. It was like, you don't need a man, you fucking bitch. Like, come on, man.
The mom said she was like, I don't even want to know how to do it.
Yeah, and that's indicative, I think, of a lot of American mindsets.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think a lot of people are like, I don't even want to know how to do something, because
this might sound, it might sound not misogynistic, but I just want to at least talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
So like, I don't know if it is, but like look where they live, right? They live in Dillon, Texas. The mom, she's not a 10, but it's just like, no matter where you are, if you're a good looking woman, people will take care of you and do things for you. Yeah. So like this
good looking white woman, especially.
Yeah, she lives in a trailer and she's still like, I don't even want to learn how to change the tire. And it's just like, that's the same thing that a billionaire's daughter would say.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like there is some privilege to that, and the thing is, I'm not mad at that. I think it's great. To me, it just shows me that's how fine women are. Like no matter how poor you are, there's a guy that's gonna be like, you don't need to do that. I'll take care of that shit.
Yep.
Like that's how dope women are to be. It's always somebody that's bad that's gonna take care of your shit.
That's fair. Yeah. I will say though, Tyra's mom is out of pocket because your teenage daughter should not be saying, "Let's get drunk to you." You know what I mean? Yeah. After you get a job that you don't even know how much you're getting paid for, you don't know nothing about benefits. Like what?
That's funny too. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so funny because like up to that point, I was like, all right, she's I'll go, yeah, even though the roles are reversed, but I go, this is what families should be doing for each other. And then once they get that win, it just shows you how inappropriate and fucked up their relationship is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like she pushed her, they did all the shit, but there's still like this kind of like trashy mother-daughter drinking together and shit, but man. But hey, to each their own.
To each
their own, man. Did
Until that shit blows up.
Yeah. Do you know people who grew up like that, who drank with their parents, or not? It wasn't not that crazy.
No. I mean, yeah, I didn't know anyone that had like parents that like were this wild. I mean, I had a friend whose parents like smoked with him a lot.
Cigarettes or weed?
Weed, which I guess is the same thing as drinking.
At what age? High school?
High school, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay. All right. So that's a little crazy. For me, like I thought it was crazy that I kind of accepted it because, I think weed has a different effect on your body and like your mental than drinking. I think drinking, there's just a lot of darkness that comes, especially when you start drinking with your kid from a young age. I don't know, for some reason, and like just marijuana, like his parents were so fun and like just so chill. You know what I mean? Like, and we would and they would like we would smoke with them, and then we would go out and play lightsaber fights, and they would like cheer us on and shit like that. You know, it was a goofy house. You know what I mean? Whereas if you drinking dark liquor at 3 p.m. on a
That's
Saturday
weird.
with your kids, that's
weird.
That's weird.
How do you feel about this? So I'm at a comedy festival, right? I know the people who put it on. So it's a cool festival.
Yeah.
And one night, all the comics we out smoking weed, and one of the people who put it on, their kid is out there, but he's like 17ish, but he looks like a young grown man.
Okay.
And they're like, "Hey, let him hit the joint." And I'm like, "Yo," I was like, "I don't know about that, man." They go, "Hey, I'm the parent." I say it's cool. And I was like, "Well, I'll give it to somebody else. And if they want to hand it to you, they can hand it to you, but I ain't hand it to you."
Yeah,
I was
that's
like, that's weird. I was like,
yeah, just because if you don't know the strand, you don't know where the weeds come from. Also, you're sharing like it's just that's a weird.
There was a bunch of us. But the next night, I ended up they stood in the circle and I just passed it. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's not on me. The parent is here.
That's true.
I don't care at this point.
That's true.
But there was something I was just like, but people were acting like I was being weird about it.
Well, you don't want them to have like a bad reaction or anything like that. And then people are like, well, that was Chris's joint, or what I mean? Like, you don't want any of that. You don't want any of that. So it's like, I just don't want my name attached to this. You know what I mean? So I would have done similar to you, be like, hey, that's your weed. So if you want to, loop him in on the puff fast, like, sure, whatever. But like, if it's my active shit that I'm handing out and giving to people and he wants some of it, nah.
Yeah.
I'm a pass.
It was just a community joint. I was like, but yeah, I would never like give that kid weed.
Yeah.
But
it's also you just again, you don't know if you don't know the kid and you don't know like how they're going to react, because that could get weird real fast. That's like when you're smoking with a stranger at the festival, right? If you happen to be smoking with a comic you had never hung out with before, they smoke some weed and they get really weird, whether it's like, they get that crazy look in their eyes and just won't shut the fuck up, or they get creepy and dark and stuff. I'm sure you've seen the different spectrums of reactions to weed, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you always have to be on your P's and Q's when you're smoking with strangers.
Yeah.
And drinking with strangers too.
Yeah, there's certain people like at my mic where like there's this one dude, man. He doesn't come around, but he was absolutely insane. Insane. And he smoked a lot of weed. He was super cool. He like, "Hey, Chris, you want to?" I go, "Bro, no offense." I go, "But I don't want to smoke anything that you smoking." And he was like, "Yo, that kind of hurts my feelings." I was like, "I don't really care, man." He goes, "But I get it, man. But I get it." Because he was like, he was on some type of like antipsychotic medication. And I was like, "I don't know what you would do to your shit." And he was like, "Bro, why would I do anything to my weed? I like smoking with people." I go, I don't care, man. I just don't trust your weed, bro. Sorry. Yeah. I felt weird doing that, but you know what? That's my body. It's my choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was just like an indica thing, probably to calm down or something like that. But like, yeah, you're not obligated to partake in any kind of anything with anyone you don't want. Like, even if it's just like, hey man, go for a walk with me in the park, and be like, I'm good. Like, I'll see you at this mic, but that's about it. You know what I mean? You're not obligated to do anything.
Yeah, and he's a cool dude. And the thing is, I don't really think he would do anything to his weed, but it's just like there's a weird chance he could.
Yeah,
he's crazy. I mean, because like he's one of those, like, bro, he's one of those guys. Like, he would come for a couple of weeks, and then you might not see him for 2 weeks, and you come back, the motherfucker got a wristband on from the hospital, way different haircut. He used to carry a big trunk around, wear these weird hats. It was just like he would have his weed and his medication like in the same containers and in the same box. I'm like, yo, I don't want nothing to do with anything that you smoke, man. No, I'm sorry.
Wild.
He's a nice guy though. Nice guy, but fucking crazy. But anyway, sorry.
It's just insane. All right, let's talk about.
How do you feel about the Herc conversation? You said so. You felt like Jason really just took that out of context.
Yeah. Well, Herc also has been a little reckless. He was a little reckless in this episode, driving by. Well, I mean, to be fair, Street was like, "Hey, can you stop by this place real quick?" But then he's shouting out, "Lyla, Lyla," and then amping I think he was doing little things to perturb Street. I think he was, I think he just misread how Street was interpreting his advice and everything like that. And but also Street is just so clouded. Is this kid going to school?
Jason?
Yeah, or is he just like homeschooled now at this point?
Well, remember in the last episode, a couple episodes ago, Tammy said he had most of his classes done already because I think she said he had a couple of electives or something like that. But no, he hasn't gone back to school yet.
Okay.
Because when he came over looking for Coach Taylor, they were talking, and she said, "Yo, you're more than welcome to come back at any time." But maybe he's just doing correspondence where they're bringing the work home.
Okay.
Because
The reason why I asked is just because if he's just at home by himself with his thoughts and shit like that, or like just wheeling around town, he's probably becoming unhinged.
I
And
thought
like,
about that
you know what
too.
I mean? I think that that's why he's also like, I want to prove
Yeah,
everyone wrong that I'll make something of myself. And he thinks that Herc is like still the rehab facility for various reasons. Like he doesn't have anyone coming to check in on him. Like, yes, to an extent you could look to Herc as like, a mentor, but at the same time, you don't want to emulate Herc's life because it's still not that great.
right.
You know what
Yeah,
I
right.
mean?
Yeah, and his situation is completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can only help you so much. Like
Yeah.
I always tell younger comics that because sometimes they think like a Kevin Hart or like someone or even a Roy Wood Jr. can help them. I'm like, bro, they're so far up, they can't help you. All they can do is say, keep going up. It's just like they don't know super low level bookers. They don't know those people, man.
Yeah.
Like then yeah, we both do comedy, but we're in different universes. They can't help you. Can they put you on their show? Yeah, they could, but again, they're not. That's not helping you really.
They're also not obligated to help.
Yeah, they're
Like,
not obligated to help.
you know what I mean? There's so many people at this point that probably ask them for help or support. And it's like, all I can do is say, keep, like you said, keep going and stuff like that. It's, and I think that that's the issue, right? With like, people wanting to help others. It's like, because Roy Wood Jr. is one of the nicest dudes in the
Mhm.
industry. Like I met Roy when he first came to New York and, had the pleasure of being able to connect with him here and there throughout the years. But I know he's at a level now where I can't just hit him up to like, pick his brain for advice and stuff like that. He's got too many people asking for his time, including his son, right? And so it's like I'm
Right,
mindful of that. And if we cross paths like in the business and stuff like that, very excited to chop it up with him and like make sure that I utilize his time well. But other than that, like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother him if I don't have anything. It can't just be a one-way street too, right? It can't just be me constantly asking him for things and be my mentor and stuff. It's like
right,
I got to be able to support him in some way too, right? And
right.
so
Exactly. Yeah, yep.
that's the thing with
Yeah,
like young comic, like I think just in general, like any kind of up and coming person, young people like who are trying to become professionals, I think they need to keep that in mind.
right. Yeah, I've run into some situations, not so much anymore because people are getting it, but like towards the end of me working with Norman, like because I worked with him for like 6 years, so
Yeah,
I know him at different stages.
yeah,
So like when we first started working together, I could still call or text him, but it's like I could be like, "Yo, there's a cool spot down here. They pay like 400. You want to come down and do it? Hell yeah!" And we would do we would set up these little one nighters and shit.
yeah.
And like a couple years ago, hey man, you think Mark will come down here? I'm like, bro, we are so past that. I was like, I can't. Oh, I hit up this manager person, and they were talking about 5,000. I go, "Yeah, that's what it is. There's nothing I can do about that." I was like, we are past the point of him coming and doing your bar shows, man. And this is a few years ago. People are still asking me to hit him up to do shit. I'm like, bro, no. Like
Yeah.
me and him, I don't even bother him with the little shit, like little funny memes and shit. I don't bother him with that shit now. Like you say, you got a kid now. He's way bigger. That's my guy. But I realize he doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of shit. We don't have time to laugh about Curb Your Enthusiasm anymore like we did 4 or 5 years ago.
And so all this to go back to Jason Street has too much time on his hands.
Two months, yeah, but yeah, I do. I thought about that too. I go, this is wild. It's been 2 months, and he's just at home to think about all the shit that he's lost. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And it also just shows like his parents can't even take off.
Yeah,
They gotta work, bro. They gotta work. And
it's
he out
tough.
in the garage taping weights to his hands and shit, getting
He is becoming a supervillain. He really is. Like,
he's the black Mr. Glass.
oh shit. You mean the white Mr. Glass?
The white Mr. Glass.
Wait,
Jesus
no, Mr.
Christ.
Glass is black, is he?
Yeah.
Also,
Man.
real quick aside, Glass. I'm so happy that M Night was able to like close the loop on this little surprise trilogy that he did, starting with Unbreakable, right? But have you seen Glass,
No, you know what?
bro?
You know how sometimes do you ever write shit online just to be a troll sometimes, just to fuck with people?
Yes, yes.
So I was like, somebody was just they were just glazing M. Night Shyamalan. I was like, yo, Unbreakable is like it's okay, and that's one of his best films. And they were like, watch it again. I watched it again, and I was like, this shit's so good.
Yeah, man. I mean, also okay. So what ended up happening was, well, M Night kind of had this little comeback, right? It started with
Right,
The
right.
Visit. Then he did this movie Split with James McAvoy.
Okay, I saw
And
Split.
okay, and then the ending, you're like, yo, this is an Unbreakable sequel this whole fucking time because it shows Bruce
Yes.
Willis, right? Then they
Yeah.
did Glass where they brought everything together. And the first hour of that movie, I'm like, yo, M Night did it. Like he actually, like he did this shit. And then it falls apart so quickly where I was like, well,
Ah,
the glasses, the second act is
like
so the second half is so bad. It's so bad.
really.
But the first
Shit.
half, they had this scene where Samuel Jackson's like doing this voiceover, and it's on Bruce Willis, and it's got that Unbreakable beat that kicks in again. And I was like, yo. And
Where
then
can I
it
watch
just,
it?
I don't know if you want to
Oh,
do
it's on
that to
Hulu.
yourself.
Okay, I'll watch it. Is it worth watching?
Yes. I would say yes, because I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
All right. I probably should watch Split again too. Then I'll
You
watch
should.
Split
You
again.
should. Yeah.
All right,
Split
I'll
is
watch
really
Split.
good. Split is really
It
good.
was. It was because for a while M Night was my guy, and I feel like he just let me down for so many times.
What speaking of the dude I was talking about who we used to get high with his parents, one of the movies we got really, really high was The Village. We went to go see The Village opening night, and
Mhm.
I guessed the plot twist within 20 minutes of the movie. The 20 minutes I did a close up of that black box. I was like, Sean, they ain't fucking they're modern times. This ain't no 18 something shit. And he was like, what? He was like, yeah, I think they're like in today. And he's like, what nigga? And then it was revealed that they're
What,
like in
nigga?
modern times. He's like, nigga.
Oh yeah. Did you? I did like that movie though. I did
I
like
didn't
it.
like it. I thought Adrian
I
Brody was
did.
so out of control playing that mentally challenged dude. That
I
was not
liked
good.
it. Oh, I'll
Oh,
say this.
Bryce Dallas Howard was hot though. I remember being like, "Oh, she's a
She
little cute."
bad. She bad. She's bad.
One of my favorite Black Mirror episodes.
I love. Which one?
She's the one with the. It's about the ratings. Remember, everything
Oh
you do is
yes,
like
I've seen that one.
runs on like your rating and shit, like a credit
She
score.
bad. Yeah, she's bad.
Everything. Uh,
Sorry. Yeah, we getting
no
off.
worries, no worries. Yo, so Coach Taylor, they're able to win their game because they do this risky play that allows Riggins to score. We're barely even talking about football games at this point. It's just so
Yeah.
much drama off the field.
And that's what I was trying to tell people when I asked them if they ever watched the show, and they were like, "Oh, I don't like football shows." I'm like, "Yo, so much of this is not about football, where sometimes it's secondary,
Yep,
and it's just icing on the cake when they do have a game." You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the story behind that play
Okay.
because Jason because Matt was watching film, he was noticing things. The thing that pissed me off is like his dad was like, leave the play calling to the coaches. It's like, come on, man, like have some faith in your son. You should be happy that he's taking initiative. He's sitting here watching game film, you
With
know.
grandma, yeah, grandma's
Yeah,
offering tips, and
yo,
then
she low key know a lot too. You ever if you listen to her,
oh yeah,
she know the
grandma,
game.
yeah, like that's the thing is like that's where Matt is like he was trying to show his dad in earlier episodes like you have to listen to the signal through the noise of what
Right.
grandma's telling us, right? And then also I think dating Julie who knows plays really well and stuff like that. I think having the two of them and watching shit like has made Matt a way better communicator and quarterback.
Yeah. And I think low key coach loves and hates that shit.
Oh yeah, his smirk when Batami told him that the Julie
He said that?
yeah.
He said it just like that. He was so happy.
That's what I love about like like human moments like that, right? It's
Yeah.
like and
Yeah.
the show just does a really good a job of like showing that.
Oh, they do. Yo, there's one thing. You said you used to row, so you've been on teams and shit like
Yep.
that before.
Yeah.
Do you remember when coach went up to smash his mom was like, yo, can I have him for an hour?
Yep.
And she was like, yep. The way it was said was so real. He said it just like a coach. So he was like, yo, can I have him for an hour? It was said like, yo, this hour is about to suck and ain't shit you can do about it. And the yep was like, do whatever you need to do to that motherfucker because he deserves it. Like he knew, Smash like knew like this is not gonna be good. Even though it didn't turn out to be And like he didn't make him run or anything like that. He just knew it was not going to be a fun time. And that's when he took him to the diner. And to go back to what you were saying, I think especially young guys who have aspirations, especially in fields like that, they need to see someone who failed, who looks like them, especially in a job where they will be looked down upon. So Smash hearing that this kid went to Notre Dame and now he back here making hamburgers, that's the last thing Smash wants to be in that town,
Yeah.
cooking burgers, because that would be so his ego. Do you think Smash's ego would allow 24-year-old him to be in there flipping burgers? Oh, you should be him. Smash don't want that shit, bro.
Mm.
That was such a great moment. Probably my favorite moment of the episode.
I do, as much as like I have mixed feelings on the after the play Smash's performance throughout the series. I do really appreciate, especially as a young black man that was growing up in mostly white spaces, Coach Taylor really taking Smash under his wing and Smash being reciprocal to this feedback, the insight that Coach Taylor offers him, to Smash's mom for being so trusting, and having good judgment on who let her son be around.
Right.
Even though she has the moment where she, I think at the end of the day, she knew that her son probably did this on his own. But like I said, like when Coach Taylor like looks her dead in the eye and says, "I had no idea about this," I mean, she immediately knows, okay, my judgment was right on him, but my judgment unfortunately was wrong with this precious thing that is my son, or whatever. But sometimes that can cloud parents, right? Like she can be forgiven for that to an extent.
Yeah.
Right? But
yeah, man.
I just love I think that's one of the things I crave so much in like life is like mentorship and like stuff like that. But I'm also a grown ass man at this point. Like, hey, it is what it is. But growing up, especially as a teenager that's trying to figure shit out, that has a lot of the pressure of being the man of the house, quote unquote, on him. And, I think it's great that Coach Taylor's like, I'm not giving up on you, but you got to work real fucking hard to get my trust back. You got to work real fucking hard to show that you earn this second chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why, to your point earlier, it's like you were like, "Oh, but Smash has a big mouth." Blah blah blah. I'm like, I think it. That would just be self-sabotage at this point. He'd be so far gone. He would probably lose. He'd probably lose the goodwill of his community, obviously of his team, and of his mom if he did something like that.
Yeah, he's but that's the thing. They're kids. You'd never know what they would. People in general are unpredictable.
This is true, but
yeah.
Smash
But you're
is
right.
to show
You're
that
right.
how that he's self-destructive like that. You know what I mean? Like a Riggins would be a toss-up for me. If Riggins was like revealed to be doing steroids and shit.
Okay, right.
If
You're
Riggins
right.
revealed to be doing steroids, because one, there wouldn't be a mom-like figure coming in to set him straight and to make him confront the coach. Billy's not going to do that shit, right?
Right.
But if Riggins were revealed to be secretly doing steroids, as Coach Taylor, I would be like,
oh, he's done.
Coach Taylor would report him because he can't risk Riggins staying off the stuff because there's no one at home also reinforcing positive behavior. That's the thing too that I think gets discounted. Like, a lot of folks in who struggle to take care of their kids and stuff like that, they lean on public services such as schools and community centers and stuff like that to help raise their kids and teach them the way. It's like this stuff only works to an extent though, because at home things are fucking disarray and chaotic.
Right.
None of that best practices and stuff's going to stick because you're not reiterating those examples. Or if you're discounting, oh, your teachers don't know shit or blah 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 blah. It's like, then what are we doing this for?
Right. Yeah. I don't think Riggins has really showed any true interest in wanting to do or be anything. So what's the risk? But as much as Smash runs his mouth, he knows what Smash wants, and the Smash knows what he wants, and he's gonna do anything to get there. The Riggins he's just out in the wind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
who's talented.
The irony about Smash and being so arrogant and everything is that everything he does is in service of his career being in football, right? And being successful enough where he can take care of his family.
Right.
There's never been, I want to be the greatest of all time. I'm the best football player ever. He just wants to be good enough where he can take care of his family. And that is one thing that I think Coach Taylor has always appreciated about Smash because it's consistency.
Right.
And character, right? It's like all this is in service to be able to take care of his mom and his sister and his sisters.
Right.
It's not like because he wants to have the biggest mansion and ball. Yes, he probably will do those things, but his family is always going to be number one priority. And I think there's a thing with Coach Taylor when he's talking to Tammy about like, if I report him, I'd ruin his career. And I think Taylor, like, you know what I mean? I think it's a different thing. I think he just sees the mission. I think he sees the purpose that Smash has in doing this sport, and he knows that it's selfless. He's a selfish person and self-centered person, but he knows at the end of the day, his North Star is his family. And Coach Taylor, as a family man, I think respects that. And that's why he's always, you know, throughout the series, through season 3, I believe, Taylor's always making space for Smash and allowing him to grow and show that he's able to be the man that he needs to be to take care of his family and meet that moment. You know what I mean?
That's very true. That's very true. Albeit very misguided.
Yes.
His intentions were to be the best. And that's why I love when he was like, yo, you can't listen to I can't remember the guy's name, the guy who had the list.
Oh yeah.
The football guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he was like, that guy was number 6 on the list, and look where he is. Like, don't let people like that, you know, dictate how you see yourself. Because he had a line, I didn't have time to go back. He was just like, it was an ironic line that he said about something about being strong, or you trying to gain strength or something like that. And it was ironic that you know, while trying to be strong, it's like he got caught using these steroids, and like, how did it really work out for him? So I forgot what the exact wording was, but I was like, damn. But yeah, man, coach is he's a good dude, man. And to kind of bring it into the real world, you got to be careful as a black athlete, as parents, like who we're sending our kids to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, they're in Texas. I know times are different now, but like there's some racial stuff that comes up later on. You know, it's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to be careful what these people are putting in your kids' head, what they're saying. You know, I grew up in the inner city, but I went to private schools there, man. Like just hearing like some of my friends and what they said the coaches would say to them. It's like, yo, that was racially inappropriate for adults to say to a kid. Like that was very uncalled for. Very, very uncalled for. But I say I like to say, like, he's a good dude, man. He is. And I feel like he can be trusted. And he like he said, he was like, yo, you have no idea how far I'm sticking my neck out for you. I mean, he definitely did not have to do that. He's risking it all. And he obviously sees something in this kid. Something.
Well, I mean, he sees
something to do that.
Yeah, it's wild because we never really learned too much about Coach Taylor's background, right? But I do think I wouldn't be surprised. And folks, you know, let us know. Like, shoot us an email at FridayNightLightsRewind@gmail.com, or leave us a 5-star review and then comment on that, or the YouTube channel. Anything that you feel like you want to comment on this. I wonder if Coach Taylor comes from a single parent family, because I feel like the way that he connects with, sometimes on a deeper level, with like a Riggins, like he has such empathy for Riggins, Saracen, and Williams, who all come from different backgrounds and have different life experiences. But the common thing is the lack of a stable family household, right? And a lack of a father figure, like a consistent father figure. And I think there's something there that like makes Taylor do the things that he does, that go above and beyond. And because he's consistent, like he does his best for all these young men.
He does.
And I think he takes that responsibility very, very seriously.
He does. He could have come from one, because I think he said he had a dad that was really hard on him. I think he alluded to that, having a dad that was really, really hard on him. But I'm thinking maybe he was a player. Now he's a coach. He's been in this world for a long time, and I think after a while you start to see it. And I think over time, like we might have a certain attitude towards it, like, oh, these people need to stop doing this, and how come it's like that? And I think over time you realize, like, oh shit, like we were saying, some people, like, it's just, this is their situation. They don't have any help at home, these kids, or you know what I mean? So like I think maybe just being in that world, maybe he built that empathy, just realizing how tough it is for these kids too. Because I think you have to have that part. And like, not to get super political, but like, you know, Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah.
like the shit that he says now, he was a football coach for a long time, and a very successful one at that. I mean, he put out a lot of pro players, and it's like, and we have the right to have the political views that we have. We do. You can. But I was just like, yo, it's wild to think that hundreds of black families sent their kid to this guy for decades.
Yep.
And he was thinking this shit. Same with that guy who coaches the football team on The Last Chance of You. Again, you're entitled to have your thoughts and ideas on politics, but like, yo, y'all motherfuckers built y'all careers and wealth on the backs of poor black people. And for you, again, you don't have to, but some of the shit is just like, yo, this is disrespectful, bro. And it just shows you don't care. And you saw these kids as commodities. And I say all that to say, Coach does not do that. And they already previewed that earlier when the one kid came back who was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already laying the groundwork with Smash. Because like you were saying, he doesn't need to do this. He could have just reported it, wiped his hands, and been done with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Show is so deep, man.
I love it, man. I love it. It allows us to have these conversations. It allows us to reflect on ourselves a little bit. You know, I peeped in this episode, particularly when like Tammy is basically like, I'm gonna go work for this governor, and you know, and then Taylor, you know, Coach Taylor's like, oh, you know, it's convenient that your husband's the like, you know, the coach of the, you know, star football team of blah. And I realized I was like, Coach Taylor has a very, you know, serious demeanor. It's kind of like how I perceive I'm, you know, looked at like from, you know, the outside, like just kind of a serious person, right? But his wife makes him smile. His daughter makes him smile. You know what I mean? Like it's even, yeah, man. I love that part. Like it's like, no, his family shows like his true like self.
They get to see the real him.
He can let down like his guard and stuff like that. Because man, he can give that stare. Like we ended with the stare when he's looking at Street. He gives a stare to Smash when the mom confronts. Like Kyle Chandler has a stare.
He is such a coach.
But it can pull off so many different emotions depending on who the target of the stare is. It's incredible. It is
so good. He has such a coach moment on this episode, and it was such a he's so good. Because do you remember when Saracen goes up to him and he goes, "Hey, coach, thank you for trusting me with that play," and he was just like, "Hey, man, let's not pat each other on the back just yet. We still got another game. Go have fun. Get out of my face." That's such a coach thing to do. Like he is super happy about that winning that game, but he gave Matt nothing.
Yeah, because it's all mental too. Like you want to make sure this kid doesn't get too gassed up and then gets a little lazy, slacks off, and then like that one, even if it's just 5% less than this game.
Mm-hmm. It was so good.
We need it.
Yeah, man. Kyle Chandler is so good. He was made for this role. He was so good.
Yeah, very good.
So good.
All right. Well, that's our recap of episode 13 of season 1, Little Girl, I Want to Marry You, which ends on Street proposing to Lyla, which is not going to go well. That's not even a spoiler alert. But we do an on the bench rec, which is for a character or actor who just did not bring it this episode, or just did something so egregious that we're like, oh, you got to sit down for a second. Anyone on your radar, Chris, for this episode?
I struggle with the bench. I don't know why this episode was tough to find a bench player for me. I mean, because I felt like Smash was a little too easy because he fucked up. But but he did own up to his shit.
Yeah.
The one thing I really hated though was when he yelled at his mom. If I bench him for anything, because he called her stupid and shit like that, like he was wilding.
Yeah.
Like that should have been the end of his character arc when he called her dumb.
Yeah. So hey, did you guys hear about Miss Williams? She in jail.
Who'd you bench?
So I was going to possibly bench Herc for not reading how Street was taking his advice and his actions. But I'm actually gonna go with Buddy Garrity. Buddy Garrity is all over the place in this episode. Yeah.
But he asked for it. He can't be.
Well, the street thing is understandable, but at the same time, I would have just walked away because you see this young man hurting. You see this young man just grasping for straws. He doesn't know which way is up. And yes, clearly I'm fucking trying to manipulate some stuff with my daughter and all that stuff. But it's like, you just walk away. If you see a kid that heated, who's in that kind of a mental, emotional duress,
Yeah.
I would walk away. And then, you know, the way that Buddy Garrity looks at Tyra's mom and stuff, I'm like, that's just not going to be good. So Buddy Garrity is just a piece of shit. He's just a piece.
He is. He's a philanderer.
Yep.
He's a man's man.
Oh God.
He cast it perfectly.
Yes.
Perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. Casting department fucking deserves all the awards.
On point.
MVP character for this episode. This is a character that we thought really just showed a lot of strength and humanity and just something we will all aspire to in the real world. Anyone for you?
Coach, as always.
Yeah, Coach Taylor.
It's always a coach.
Coach Taylor. He fucking dealing with so many things. I mean, the fact that oh man. Yeah, just like Smash's mom just barging into the office and yelling at him that way. And he's just trying to assess so many things at the same time. But he kind of keeps his eyes straight on Smash that entire time. Like, he's like, are you going to own up to this? Because this is about to get real bad.
He got blindsided.
Yeah.
Blindsided. Because not to rehash it, but yo, that shit could have went south so quickly. Like, what if one of the other kids heard it? Somebody else got wind of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I want to say about the Smash situation, I think Coach also realizes this is probably the one time where they can truly hide some shit without with a real excuse. I feel like in high school, you could always pull a kid off the team and go, yo, this motherfucker's being disrespectful at the house. They're not getting stuff done. He ain't playing. And nobody's going to say anything about that. Yeah. Nobody. He talking back to it, especially a single black man. Oh, he talking back. He being rude. He doing okay. It's easy to, you know what I'm saying? It's easy to explain off, and I think that's probably another factor why they were like, let's sweep this under the rug.
That's
sorry.
No. All good, man. All good. And then game ball for performance. Which actor or actress had a fantastic performance in this episode?
As much as I didn't like it. Jason Street proposing, I felt like he did have a strong performance this episode. I want to give Chandler everything, but I feel like I gotta spread it around. But
so you're shouting out Scott Porter, who plays
Scott
Jason
Porter.
Okay.
Because bro, I legitimately forgot that he proposed to her. So when I heard the speech at the end, it was like hearing it again for the first time. I looked at my wife. I was like, oh, my God. I forgot this nigga proposes. I forgot. Because he convinced me. I was like, he about to break it with her. And I was like, right before he got to the end, I was like, oh, no, that's right. He does this dumb shit. He got me.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy layup, but I'm going with Kyle Chandler. I just when you can do so many things, because he gave the stare a few times in this episode. He had some very stirring conversations this episode, and it's with different characters, and they all understood what he was saying and why he was saying it. And that's just such a strong character. And that's indicative of strong writing, but that's really indicative of a actor who's able to deliver that in a way that it's accessible for so many people, and it demonstrates why Coach Taylor is revered the way he is.
Yeah.
And again, that's just in Kyle Chandler's performance. You know what I mean?
Do you think Kyle Chandler is Coach Taylor yet? Like, as far as, you know how like some people are known as like the Fonz or so and so. Do you think Kyle Chandler is Coach Taylor, or is he some?
He's like synonymous with Coach Taylor. Yeah, it's like the way that Bryan Cranston's synonymous with Walter White.
Okay,
and stuff. I thought you were asking, do you think he is the Coach Taylor that makes him like the greatest, like probably the greatest TV coach of all time? I'm like, not yet, because I think that comes at the end of season 4. When he takes a big L at the beginning of the season, where he's working at a school that barely has a football field, to where he gets that team. That's when he's the greatest. That's when Coach Taylor becomes like an all-time great character on television.
You know what? I feel like you're right. I don't think he gets the credit, but I think as far as TV coaches, he has to be one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest.
Yeah. I would be I'm hard pressed right now to think of a better TV coach character.
We might have to put someone out on Twitter.
Yeah, we got to figure someone out.
It'd be interesting.
Final score for this episode. Folks, if this is your first time listening, we have a scale from 1 to 10, a 1 being a drunk Riggins puking on the field, and 10 being a Coach Taylor Hall of Fame speech. What say you for episode 13?
Man, 8.5.
Okay.
8.5. I want to call it 9, but Street apologizing, not apologizing, proposing. It literally makes me mad. I'm so mad.
Okay.
I'm so sick of them, man. I am.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm actually giving it a 9. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I thought, as frustrating as the Street stuff was, it was true to the character and where they're at in this current moment. I just thought the writing was so dope, the spot on, like really gave the actors moments to shine, even the actors that aren't the strongest. The pacing was a huge improvement from the previous episode. So yeah, it's a 9 for me.
Yeah, I like this episode a lot, man. It's fun not remembering everything and seeing it again. Yeah.
Yep. For sure. And folks, if you're enjoying what we're doing, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast application. We'll read it on the show, or send us an email, FridayNightLightsRewind@gmail.com. Chris, tell the people how they can follow you and keep up what you're doing, man.
They can find me on everything social media at Chris Allen Comedy, ALAN, my YouTube page, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Watch my special coming out again on my YouTube page this weekend. Gotta be honest. Watch and listen to my podcast, The New OGs with me and my boy Dow. That's also on all things streaming, and you can watch it on YouTube as well.
All right. Folks, y'all can follow me at Frodo_Blackens on Instagram and Threads, FrodoBlackens.com for show dates, including a 420 show in the city, as well as Drunk Black History shows all over the country, Boston, Detroit, New York, and Detroit. Yeah, it's going to be dope, man. So FrodoBlackens.com for all that stuff. And again, don't forget to leave a 5-star review for this podcast on your favorite podcast application. Let us know that you're listening, or send us an email at FridayNightLightsRewind@gmail.com. All right, y'all. Clear eyes, full hearts.
Can't lose. Were you waiting for me to say it? My bad.
That's all. I just see you like, can't lose.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to step on